because we're actually asking people to change behavior. And as we know, changing behavior is not easy. It takes some effort. You could say it's hard. And there's that old saying, people don't like change, but it's not quite true. There's a bit missing off the end of that. It's people don't like change unless it's their choice. And another great saying, which is a problem shared is a problem halved. And how do you do that though? Like, how do you actually engage people? Well, one of the best ways to do it is actually in a workshop environment where you're connecting. And if you can do the workshop environment and use AI at the same time, well, now you're in a really, really great zone. But if you're in an organization and you're thinking, wow, I haven't been creating workshops for team members to engage them, and I wouldn't even know where to begin. Well, today's session is all about giving you a workflow for kind of creating any workshop is the game. And so we're going to look at creating, well, I'll share my screen. Let's have a look at what we're creating. That's probably the best way to do it. So in that link that I've shared with you, you've got a folder, and inside the folder are some assets. I'll share my screen now so we can all be on the same page together. And put you on the big screen. So in your folder, what you'll see is the Workflow Friday session, episode 35 for March 21. That is the date, yeah. The workshop generator is the activity today. There's two avatars in there, Anthony and Lucy. Anthony's a learning experience designer and Lucy is the presentation designer, spelled incorrectly. And there's also a workshop image. So let's get into these ones. Put you all over here. Okay. So as always, the best setup is to have Raya on the left and your workshop instructions on the right. So let's get this all nicely tidied up. And I'll get started right here. Oh, and then at the end, I've got a new feature that I want to share with you. But you'll see a couple of new things as well today. If you caught last week's short update, I shared with you that we've changed our menu layout. So it's now on the left in preparation for some more exciting things. It was previously across the top. So that'll be a little bit of a transition. I know it has been for me to move to the menu on the left, but it won't take you long at all. In today's session, we'll be building a prompt template, AI agents and workflows, and there's the outline. The challenge here is creating engaging workshops and team building sessions can be quite time consuming. So what's the solution? Well, let's use AI agents to develop a workshop core components for you. So as always, Flow engineers, we take on the innovator's mindset. So that is about being like a scientist, where you put forward a hypothesis and you run your methodology and you get an outcome. And if you're not don't quite get what you're after, then you can make your adjustments. And I'll be sharing with you some more advanced ideas on top of this. Now, we've set out this session with just the two agents with a one workflow. So if someone's on a free trial account, they'll be able to set these up as well. But I'll also explain how you can go much more complex also in these ones. Okay, so let's start in the first area, which is to build a new agent. So select your agents from the menu on the left-hand side. And we're going to build new agent. Now from here, I'll just move this over a bit more. First thing we do is we look at the name of that agent. So we've got a learning experience designer. So copy the purple writing and enter that into the agent role. Now, the other thing you can do also is you can give that agent its own unique name. So I'm going to give this agent the name Anthony, put that in here. And then let's today select an avatar by going to the custom area. So in your files for today's session, you will see an image here for Anthony. So download that to your machine. And then once you've downloaded it, you can upload it to the custom avatar area. So I'm adding in Anthony. And make sure you click on apply. so that the image then displays on the screen. Now we're going to add a category here. I'm going to add in the category of planning. So we'll put planning in there. Once again, categories do not impact how the AI writes the agent. It's just to help you find the agent later on. For the goal statement, we'll select generate. And then backstory. Also, let's check as a learning experience designer. So this is also kind of understanding who are the people involved in actually creating really great workshops. And there is this role called a learning experience designer. And I've worked with them in the past, and they kind of have different frameworks and approaches on how they look at adult learning in order to have efficacy in the learning. So that's why I've selected this role. Then a backstory. So we'll generate the backstory. And then base instructions. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. And then from a tone of voice perspective, we'll go with influence. Let's go actually with informative. I've put professional, but let's change that to informative. And then disc profile wise, I'll go with influential because we want really engaging material. Okay. Now from there, we'll scroll to the top of the screen and we'll select create agent. And there's something that has changed actually here in our format, in our design. We've consolidated where we could previously share to an individual user. And we previously had some radio buttons here for private, organization, and then future marketplace. So that UI has changed now and it defaults to private. You can, for all our team members at GoTeam and Multiply Tech, we'll keep that as private, so we don't have too many of the same agents. But in your organizations, if you'd like to change that access to the organization, you can do that here. So it's now available to change it to the organization. As always, though, I recommend that when you set up your agents, and your workflows, you do them privately first, test them out as a flow engineer, make sure you get an outcome that you're really happy with, and then share them with the organization. Now, you'll see this new option here with publish. That's currently only available for a few of us here at Multiply Tech. And that is so that we can now publish these agents onto the public website so that you can view them and you can absorb them into your account. I'm going to show you that at the end of the session today. And then later, future advancements with that publish area to be able to do things like being able to publish these agents all the way through to things like selling them, but sharing them potentially with your customers to engage with on a public perspective as well, in a slightly different format to the chat approach. Okay, so final step here is to publish the agent so that it is then available for usage into the workflows. And then the next agent we're going to set up today, we'll just be doing the two, is going to be our PowerPoint presentation designer called Lucy. So click on the agents again and build new agent. And we'll copy the functional name of PowerPoint presentation designer. And we'll enter that into the agent role. So the role is always going to be a functional name to help the AI to write the AI agent, but we can have some fun and give the agent a unique name. So we'll call this one Lucy. We've also got an image for Lucy. So let's go for the custom image. And that one is available in your resources. So go to Lucy and download Lucy. In fact, while you're there, if you haven't done it already, also download the next image, which is the workshop image for the workflow and the prompt template we'll use soon. Okay, so we then, from what you've saved locally on your machine, we'll add in Lucy. And we'll apply her. Okay, Lucy's taking a moment. Okay, there she is. And I'm going to put her into design as a category. It's design. And then we'll generate our goal statement. As a PowerPoint presentation designer, I'm responsible for transforming complex ideas into visually engaging and impactful presentations. Fantastic. She's in the right zone. We'll develop a backstory for her, which is like her experience if she had been working in this field. And then finally, the base instructions. And of course, you can always reprompt these and adjust them to suit your needs. And that can get quite advanced. I saw one of our AI automation engineers actually getting some code into these yesterday, which is quite interesting. And then we'll move down into our behavior and tone of voice. So for this one, let's give her informative and influential. We'll do those two together. Designers often sit in a high I category, so that's nicely aligned. Then we'll scroll to the top of the screen. We'll create the agent. We'll keep those settings as private. And then the final step there is to publish the agent, publish Lucy, bring her to life, make her available. She's now part of the team. Okay, now the next step is, because we're creating a workflow to help you create any workshop design in the future, we'll start with a prompt template that gives generic boundaries there. Charity, can you just put yourself on mute, please? Or nice to mute. Just thank you for muting yourself. Fantastic. Okay, so with that published now, we're going to navigate over to the prompts area and create a prompt template. So from here, we'll select Build New Prompt at the top. And what a prompt template does in this no-code designer is that it allows us to have a standard prompt that we reuse again and again with variables, which are the fields that we're going to put into the form itself. And we build it on the left and we see it designed before our eyes on the right. So the first step we're going to do, and what I've done here is I've given you a visual of what the final outcome will look like in the work instructions. And we'll start by using the purple writing to copy and paste the name. So this is a workshop outline creator. So we'll copy and paste that into the name area. And then the next thing we'll do is we'll give it an image as well. So click on that icon, we'll select custom, and from your downloaded items, there's that workshop image available for you, naturally created with AI. And if you haven't downloaded that yet, that's this image here, and just download that one so that you can insert it as well. Okay, once you've uploaded it, you can select apply. And then we're going to add in the description so we understand what it is we've created, but we come back to it later. So in the description, I've got create an outline for a facilitated workshop that incorporates using AI agents and working with the chat feature and mental mode to facilitate brainstorming. So you'll see those sort of instructions come up a little bit later as well. Okay, so we'll copy that one, paste it in. And I'm just going to zoom out a bit so you can see this created. Now, the next section here is to create the form fields. So we've got the options of input, which is just a single line item, text area, so you can put a paragraph or more in, number, so it'll be using numbers, and then a drop down. Today we'll be using input, text area, number, and drop down. We're actually going to do it all. Are we doing text area? Yes, we are. Okay. So we'll start with the text area. And here in the table on the right, I've just outlined, set up all of these items that we'll copy across. So for the label, we'll copy workshop type or concept. and we'll paste that in. And then the placeholder field, which is this one here, so it's prompting the user what to put in, we'll put in what is the type or concept. Paste that in, and there it appears. What is the type or concept? The next item to add in is an input field. So we'll select the input button, and now we've got this new row appear with the input, and we'll copy and paste across the label and the placeholder field. So the input we put here is outcome, because we want to know what is the outcome we want from workshop. So what outcome do you desire for the workshop? Paste that into the placeholder. And then the next item to put in, next input is a number. So we'll add a number. We put number of attendees. And then for the placeholder, put in how many attendees. Okay, the next input is a drop-down. So let's select the drop-down button, and you'll see all these options appear for us. So we'll start with the drop-down for length of workshop. And then the placeholder is what is the length of the workshop? And I've got two options, half day or full day. I mean, you could have more options than that, but I'm going to put half day or full day. You could be doing number of hours as an example for the workshop. And I'm going to remove option 3 because we don't need it. Okay, the next one is an input for date. So I'll select the field of input and change the label to date. And the placeholder will be what date will the workshop commence? Okay, 2 more items to go. We've got an input line for start time and the placeholder of what time will the workshop start. Then the final drop-down, final input form field is a drop-down. And this one here is modality. So, and the placeholder is what time is, just like put modality question mark. So let's put that one. And then 3 options, online, offline, or hybrid. And this is just coming from our own current personal experience right now with team members. You know, some are in the office, some might be in different on different island states, countries. Like it's our world can be hybrid. So it's a new challenge for facilitators running workshops where you've got some people in the room and some people online. Okay, then we go down to the prompt area. Now, just as a refresher, or if it's your first time, what you'll see is that each of the form fields that we created, so the first one was text area and we had workshop type or concept. You'll see that this is now a button down here for workshop type or concept. And when I select that, it will insert that variable with the curly brackets around it. So we can type our prompt and then insert the variable so that when this particular prompt is run, it will pull in those variables or answers from the form and put it into the prompt itself. What this does is it makes it so much easier to reuse prompts that have variables versus trying to keep some list of prompts somewhere in this huge catalog. It also means that from the team members' perspective, in an organization, we can share these prompts across team members. Okay, now for this though, to speed up the process, all we need to do is copy this entire prompt that I've pre-written for you in purple. And you'll notice that when you paste that over, what it's got is the curly braces around each of those variables our form fields are put in. But here's a word of caution by taking my prompt and putting over. If you have a spelling error or have spelt these differently, then it's not going to work. Okay, so what you can do is just delete out, the curly braces and input each of those items again, if you want to play it nice and safe. That's a really good way. I'm going too fast, James. Okay, no worries at all. So I'll take a bit of time here by deleting out my current form fields and putting those variables back in. So number of attendees, putting those in. Okay, and then length of workshop. Delete that out. That one in. And then modality. Put that one in. And then the date. And for those that have children, I have children knocking on my door right now. This is the home studio in Bali we're coming from today. And the start time, I'll add the start time in. Cool. So here's the prompt. Develop an engaging title and agenda for a workshop based on the following information: the concept, the outcome, the number of attendees, the length of the workshop, modality, date, and then the start time. Okay, so with that done, we can add a category as well. So let's see what we might do here. We put strategy in there as one category. Do we have L&D? Can you rehash why the duplication in the prompt? The duplication. Concept, outcome, number of attendees, length. Oh, okay, right. So where you see like concept here and then what the concept is. So this or like outcome, right? So this is the variable that's come from the form. So we could write what the outcome is, but we haven't actually given a title that this is actually the outcome. So I'm informing the AI agent that in the agenda, we want to take into consideration the outcome. So this is essentially the title of outcome. And then this is the variable information that has come from the field itself. If we don't have that, then there isn't context around the content of what we've written as the outcome itself. So that's a really great question. Now, in other prompts that we might write, there could be a lot more information and guidance that goes before the information that we insert here. But for this one, I've done it quite simply. Georgetta's asking, why do we need the number of attendees? Well, that'll be over to you. For me, I like, when we come later to designing the activities that the people are going to do, it's if you're going to have a room of 500 people that you're doing a session with versus 5 people, the type of activity that you could do would vary. And so the number of attendees, therefore, is why I put those in there, because we want to use that for taking into consideration workshop activities. Great question. Oh, Derek, you've got something you can apply this to already. Fantastic. That's exciting. And you know, this will make it easier to be, let's save those changes, to start thinking about like, here's an interesting insight. Take ourselves forward 6 months, 12 months. We've got more AI agents and automation that are doing all this work. We're actually going to have more collaboration time, more strategic time, more workshop time to come up with really amazing ideas. Right? So our whole way we work is going to change. So we're actually going to need to become even better at in-person interactions. It's pretty cool, hey? Because I think that stuff's way more fun. Yeah, we can turn web browsing on too, okay? Because it can go off and search for some other ideas around agendas. Now, when we do this step in the workflow, it's really just going to create us a sort of like a pro forma agenda. We're then going to go in, we're going to actually have a step to recreate the agenda after the AI has created the activities. Yeah, thanks, Anthony. I actually am not even going to worry about running it right now. We're going to just go straight into the workflow. And mainly because but I would certainly encourage you to do that in your testing, just for time. so we're not entering things twice. We're going to go over and build the workflow, and then we'll run this actual template at the end when we're running the workflow itself. Okay, so with all that published and saved, let's now go to the workflows area as the next section. Oh, I had a category of planning, but I put strategy. But planning or strategy, put 3 in. It's only there to help us find it. Okay, so now let's create the workflow. So we're going to select Build New Workflow. And we'll give it a name, the Workshop Program Designer. Now, I'm going to need to put 2 on mine because I was running the pre-testing this morning, setting this up. And then the description is develop a workshop, including activities, PowerPoints, email, and with agenda. Okay. The description there will not impact the generation. This is just so that you can understand what it is that you've created, or for a team member to understand it. So we'll select create. And that'll take us through to the creation canvas. And here we've got these blocks that represent each task that needs to be completed in the flow. And we'll select that, and it will bring up the menu options. Ryan's asking, why are we needing to choose a large language model now? Isn't this already preset in account setup? Yeah, if you've got multiple language models and you would like to dictate which one gets used for that prompt template, you can have that extra granular control. Otherwise, it will just default to your primary. Great question. Okay, so now in the first block, we're going to start with workshop information as the title. So copy that purple workshop information and paste it over to the title. And then under the instructions section, you've got options you could generate, but today we're going to use a really simple prompt, which is this one here. Using the information gathered from the prompt template, create a sample agenda. And then same thing here with the large language models, you can just let it be default, or if you would like additional granular control, you can also select. So we've got lots of different ones here, GPT 4.0, 4.0 mini, O1 preview, O1 mini, 4 turbo, 4, 3.5 turbo, Claude, and so forth. So it's up to you what you want to use. And as a flow engineer, you can test and change and see what you get the ultimate outcome. The next step here is to select the agent. And the agent we're going to use is Anthony, our learning experience designer. Okay, and then we won't have a tool, but we'll move over to prompt template and just type in workshop or work to bring up your workshop outline creator. I've got 2 because I was pre-creating this for testing. So I'm going to add one of those in. Okay. And then from here, we'll now need to add the next block. Now, what you'll notice, there's a little purple icon. That purple icon is the prompt template itself. And so if you hover over it, you'll see which prompt template was allocated. And Anthony's in there. And so the next step is to click on the plus sign below to add a block below for the next step. And as we scroll down, the next block we're going to create is create workshop activities. So we'll copy that title. So this block is selected. We'll now navigate back to task and we'll paste in title, create workshop activities. And I've pre-created a prompt here for you. So copy this one, instructions for the prompt. So create workshop activities, including one activity that uses Ray Pro in mentor mode for brainstorming ideas. This will require a well-crafted starting prompt. Take into consideration the modality captured by the earlier agent, whether the session is online, offline, hybrid, and take into consideration the overall time allocated to the workshop captured by the earlier agent. And just excuse me for one moment, everybody. Behind the scenes here, being in Bali, today is a traditional Balinese dress day for my kids at school. So they're just asking for help to get dressed, but we'll do that later. I said it's free time for them. Okay, Ryan's asking, do we need to add a web link like Raya Pro? You have somehow, or will this auto pick this up? It's more around giving it guidance to talk about that. But you could put a www in as well. I'm more sort of looking for this to come out in the activities to say, hey, because when you're doing a workshop, we want in-person activity, but we also critically want to include the AI activity in workshops today. And the reason is digital transformation and getting the adoption of AI usage is not a straightforward thing. It's not happening in a prolific way out there. And so by starting to increase this into just things like your workshops, we normalize it for everyone. And they start to see, it can help me with brainstorming, it can help me with ideas, it can progress us forward faster. And Derek's got a question. Do you have outsourced engagement packages to set this up for me? Oh, I see. Yeah, we can talk about that offline, Derek, if you want additional hand assistance. And okay, so that one's in there. We're now going to select our Anthony, our learning experience designer again. No prompt template required for this one. And it's time to add in block 3. And do you know what? I've made a little mistake here on our block 3. It should be actually agenda writer or write agenda. So let's change that. Title, write agenda. Based on new information, workshop activities, recreate the agenda. Yeah, so the title is write agenda. Because although we wrote an agenda earlier, we didn't have the activities in. We didn't have the activities designed. So I'll say based on the new information of the workshop activities, recreate the agenda. Now, I haven't been too explicit here. I haven't said to it, go back and check with the earlier agent's work and make sure the timing is going to be laid out. So let's see what we get. We might need to be a bit more explicit in these instructions. And if we do, I'll show you how to do that in the workflow itself when your output's been created, so that you can reprompt it and then update your core workflow template later as well. Okay, how are we going for time? 7:38. Okay. So we'll now go on to, we'll still at this point in time use our learning experience designer, but you could consider having a different role there. Also, when it comes later to writing an email, you could consider a different role. Let's now move on to block 4, which is our create PowerPoint step. So we're going to create the PowerPoint. Now, it's not going to actually go and create a full PowerPoint presentation. It's going to create the outline that you can then take over to PowerPoint. And I've got a pretty simple prompt here as well. So create a PowerPoint slide information content with the instructions on ideas for images or designs to go on each slide. Okay, and then we'll select our agent, which will be Lucy, our PowerPoint presentation designer. And the final block here today will be the email invitation writer, because we've got to remember to invite everyone. So let's add that block. Start back at the task area, copy over the title of email invitation writer. And then a nice simple prompt for us today. Create an engaging email invitation, including the agenda information and a call to action to RSVP. So one of the items that we could have in that initial intake prompt template could be who to RSVP to. So that could be something that's in there. Or if you had like you can think of how this could go further, like booking links, if there's booking links and so forth. And Jacqueline Linda's just catching up. What category have you put Lucy under when creating the agent? I think design we did, but that's up to you. You could choose any categories. Categories are just there for filtering, because when you've got lots and lots of agents, you want to find them, you can filter them by category. So we've used design. And agent, look, for this agent, I've just used Anthony, again, the learning experience designer, but you could have like an email copy writer, email invitation writer, if you want to go to another level as well. Okay, so the next step here, I've put publish, but before we go to publish, let's navigate to the settings and let's add that thumbnail image that we used earlier for the prompt template, which is for the workshop, because I think that'll look quite nice in our workflow. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So once you've uploaded it, select apply. Does it not like that image format? I know it is. Just taking a moment with my internet. Okay, so that one's uploaded. And then your final step from here is to select publish. And I'm keeping that private and publishing it. Okay. So now we can run the workflow. That's published. So we're going to head on over. Now I haven't finished the instructions here. All right. So we're going to run this one live in your own style. We're not going to use that that approach. I'll just put this one here and get rid of that because you can see it's my instructions from last week. Okay. Or from the last session we did. So I'll just quickly get rid of all those. And let's do this one live together. Okay. So I'll head to the chat area. And we've got a new conversation started and we can select the workflow. So we can type in work for workshop there. So we can find that particular workflow that's been created. Whoops. Okay, there's the workshop program. I'll select it and then select workflow. Okay. Now you can type in a prompt here to ask it to help you create a workshop. Or you can talk to it. This is really how I prefer to go and speak in. You've got two options for voice. Use just the one speech mode, this one here. Please help me with creating a workshop around designing a customer journey for our business. I'm going to turn that speech off. I'm going to copy that prompt and put it into chat so you can just utilize the same prompt. Okay. So if that's easier for you, just copy that prompt. And then what you'll notice is it will execute the setup of that workflow for us. And there's this exclamation mark icon here. What that's telling us is that we have a step that's human in the loop. We need to take action here. So select view details to expand this one out. And you'll see each of the steps. So each of these steps here with the different agents and what their tasks are to do are displayed here in the workflow prompt, in the workflow designer here. So we start by clicking on fill out now to continue. Now, a couple of options. Hey, do one for yourself and your organization, or you can just copy what I do. So I'm going to type these in, and then what I type here, I'll copy and paste over into the Zoom chat so you can do the same. So I'm going to do a workshop type of concept will be customer journey mapping. So put that into there. Janet's asking, how did you get that form? So I'll just cancel out of this one here. And I'll close this. So with this workflow, we inserted the prompt template or form, if you like, into that particular step. And when we run a workflow and there's a prompt template or form to fill out, we'll see the alert icon here. And by selecting view details, it'll bring the detail out onto each of those steps. And it gives us the request here to fill out now to continue. So we select fill out now to continue and put in that customer journey mapping. And I didn't say I don't have view details option. Just one thing there might be to scroll a little further ahead, or if not, if one of the team can help in directly, that'd be great. might need to do a breakout room to see her screen. Okay, the outcome. So what outcome do you desire for the workshop? Okay, so would like to have a clear customer journey map for new customers. Because if you're doing customer journey mapping, you can have your new customers, you could have existing repeat customers, or you could even be considering things like recurring subscription customers. And as I give you a few ideas there, your mind might also be jumping to, actually, you could do a whole workflow just on customer journey mapping, right, with the different stages they have as well. So let's say I would like to have a clear customer journey mapped for our new customers. This is for our organization that specializes in, how's my spelling today? Specializes in AI plus automation consulting. Okay. So I'll copy that one over into the chat. Okay, Ryan's saying, great, added web link about the new product we want a workshop on for team training and provided a great response. Oh, cool, that's awesome. Number of attendees, I'm going to put 10. Length of the workshop, a half day. And then the date, we'll put in for, say, 27th of March, 2025. And we'll start at 9 a.m. And the modality, hybrid. I haven't tried this, so let's see what hybrid comes up with. I'll now run that, and it will take us through to the next step. Raya, do your magic. Right, workshop agenda, half day, hybrid, in person, 9 to 9:15, welcome and introduction, brief overview of the workshop objectives, icebreaker activity to understand participants' expectations. That's pretty neat. Like, another thing I like to do in workshops is is to do, like, set the guidelines or set like house rules, so you can have an activity around that. You could have it in your prompts to make sure something like that occurs. Defining our target audience. Okay, for customer journey mapping, it's great. So identifying characteristics of new customers and AI and automation. Group discussion on current customer personas. And it's good bit of talk time there, then have a quick break. Mapping the customer journey, step-by-step guide on creating a customer journey map, interactive exercise. Participants will be mapping the customer journey from the new customers on defined personas. And then identifying touch points, pain points, analyzing customer journey interactions. Group activity, highlight key touch points and pain points. Refining the customer journey map, collaborative refine the journey maps based on feedback. Discussion on how AI automation can enhance each stage of the journey. That's good, even using it on their own business. And then action planning and closing, establishing next steps. Great. Additional notes, all materials will be provided digitally for remote participants. Breakout sessions will be available for engaging discussions in both person and online, and then ensure collaborative environment with participants. Okay, cool. So that's the outline. We'll see now how that might change as well, because Anthony's now gone into creating the workshop activities. So we've now got the workshop title, Navigating the Future, Customer Journey Mapping for AI and Automation Consulting. Here are some engaging activities, one of which involves using Raya Pro in mental mode for brainstorming ideas. So it's good. It's picked up the instructions there. And then we've got the icebreaker activity, expectations mapping, 15 minutes. Participants will share their expectations for the workshop using sticky notes or online tools like a virtual whiteboard. This helps to set a tone of collaboration and clarifies goals. Brainstorming session using Raya Pro, 30 minutes. By the way, I got a comment down here from Clever. This is awesome. No more tedious brainstorming planning that usually takes weeks, even months to organize. Yeah, you really can do, can't it? Objective to generate innovative ideas and strategies for mapping the customer journey using artificial intelligence and automation. Activity flow, starting point, starting prompt. Imagine a customer experiencing our AI automation services for the first time. What emotions do you think they would feel at each stage of the journey? What touch points can we enhance or create to improve their experience? Now, if you've ever done customer journey mapping before, emotion is, and understanding the emotive experience of the customer is a really key component of it. If you haven't, then some great learnings happening here at the same time. Participants will use RoPro in mental mode to brainstorm and categorize ideas and guidance on how to use the platform effectively. So the brainstorming activity is often really great. Well, not often. It is always a great way to get engagement. A problem shared is a problem halved. That's what the benefit of brainstorming is. The high quality brainstorming really occurs when you've got people who do have experience in that particular domain of knowledge. But if you don't, then the cool thing is you can actually use AI to help bring forward a whole range of ideas. And so that's why I say put this into your workshops so that you're utilizing AI to help brainstorm. We could go one step further in the prompting here and actually say, what type of agent do you want to brainstorm with, right? So to get it to generate a recommendation of the agent to create for the brainstorming. Okay. Participants will work in small groups using their insights generated from the brainstorming session to start mapping the customer journey. They will outline key touch points, emotions, and potential pain points. Group discussion, sharing the insights and feedback. Each group will present their draft customer journey maps and receive feedback from peers. This will foster engagement and collaborative learning. Then refining the customer journey maps. Now, in reality, that's too short. It's going to take a lot longer to do that. It's only 10 people, so maybe, but I think the discussion time will be longer. I think we've sort of restricted what's possible based on saying half day. I think this probably deserves to be a 1-day activity, but it's interesting. It's done a great job putting the timers together. Refining the journey maps, 15 minutes. Groups will refine their maps on feedback and discuss actionable next step. So it probably needs more time. So it's definitely a 1-day activity. And then a wrap up, have a closing, and it's got a session summary. Then we've got the new agenda that's been written. Okay, so welcome, understanding the customer journey maps, defining the target audience, and then those brainstorming. So now it's great to put Raya in there now with that prompt that we asked for before. Mapping the customer journey, identifying the touch points. Great, it's got everything that we need in there. And it's got some additional notes. And then we've moved on to Lucy now. And Lucy's putting together the slide outline for us. And we've got the first title, so the workshop title, the welcome and introductions, icebreaker activity. And it's got instructions for the icebreaker activity, illustrate sticky notes, or online tool interface to visualize engagement. Okay, so that's more like a teaching thing, maybe not so much of an icebreaker to get people to engage. So, an advanced version of this workflow could be to have a icebreaker activity creator agent that comes up with some icebreaker ideas. And then understanding the customer journey mapping, key components of the customer journey, defining the target audience, group discussion. The break is in there. That's great. Brainstorming. It's put a screenshot of Raya Pro interface to familiarize with participants with the tool. Super clever. And yeah, it's got everything in there, right? So you could then use that to go and create it. Now we could go one step further and say, have this output in a specific format so that you can get that into PowerPoint more easily. We're going to run out of time today. And then we've finally got the final version here with the email. So look at this. It's got the email with the title. It's got the workshop timing, location. I mean, we haven't gone, I only put location in there as hybrid or modality, right? But we could have had a field for the actual physical location or the Zoom link and so forth. But really, this gives us what we need to move forward quickly. It's got the timings, and then, hey, why attend? So right, hooking the person in, what's in it for me moment, and then RSVP. Now, naturally, there's no link for that RSVP, but you put in what you need, and then finalize info. All right, now we've got a bit of chat going on here, and I've got my warning on time. Looks like that one's been sorted. Richard Scott, yeah, with workflows, it'd be helpful if there was a way to quickly download all the content. So you've got a couple of ways to do that, right? So at each of the steps, we've got click to export the content. And you can choose to do that as PDF, doc, text, CSV, Excel. Now, CSV and Excel only work well if you've pre-set up this step to output it in that type of format, like in table format. You'll need to put it in table format to then be able to download. Otherwise, it'll just come out probably not as useful as it is what you might desire. And really, if you want Excel or CSV, then really that's coming in that step where you'll be saying, hey, please output it in a table. And you may even like to use an agent that's an Excel writer as an example. Yeah, and Chris has got a good one here. Like you can take this all this information here and put it in Gamma, and Gamma will create that presentation for you. It's better than using PowerPoint. We'll see future state of this type of thing where we'll tools with like Canva and so forth to be able to export to cloud-based. Gamma doesn't have an API, unfortunately, but nonetheless, Gamma is super easy to use to just copy and paste. And cool. So James Scott, please show how to start a chat and use workflow we just created. I can't get it to work. No problem. It says I do not have a workflow. Maybe it hasn't been published. Might be the issue there. And Jen's giving me some help. Cool. Okay. Now, finally, here you've also got a bit of a summary going on, but there's all that information. Now, where could you go with this? So here are some other ideas that you could consider as well. You could have a workshop handout. Okay, so there might be a PDF handout that's created. You could have pre-work for the workshop and a handout for it as well. You could have a video script that you create to make it engaging for the workshop itself, right? So you could create a video script, and then you could take that video script and you could record it yourself, or you could put it into HeyGen and actually generate the pre-workshop video. In a similar fashion, you might even notice that in one of those steps that there is some like education that needs to be done. So maybe you could do a search for YouTube videos that give a bit of an overview. Like we could really expand this out even more. What about a certificate for finishing the workshop? You know, there's another step as well. So this is just one example, and to get you started as flow engineers, the key is to have the innovator's mindset. Use this as a starting point, expand it, make it yours. What I really hope for many of you is that you'll use this one in your businesses, and heck, maybe if you're consultants, it'll open up a whole new world for you as well. Clevin, another hour of learning and equipping myself for the future. Can't wait for next week. Hey, thanks very much, Clevin. Appreciate that. Georgetta, if we were assembling the presentation to include the activity designer input, how do you integrate the output of that into the final presentation? Cool. So you've got, when you're facilitating that workshop, you could have in your PowerPoint presentation a zone, especially if you're doing hybrid, where you have some blank slides or header slides for people to then put their output into it. Actually, that is exactly how we do it as part of one of our workshops that's in the book that's coming out shortly, where when you're in hybrid mode, you can actually have those PowerPoint set up so that people can collaborate on them, if that is the useful tool. But in some other cases, it might be, depending on what your output looks like, you might use like a Miro board is pretty cool to utilize. Or it could be even just a Google sheet or Excel sheet, depending on what that activity is going to be. All right. Thanks, everybody. That takes us to a full solid hour for Flow Friday. I hope that has served you well. Looks like there's quite a few people that are excited by it. If you've got any words that you'd like to share, we'd be very grateful for any comments that you put in about these sessions. We are, as we go to promote what we're doing, and both the book and then some new upcoming workshops as well. We'd be very grateful for any comments that you'd love to share with us so we can share those on social media as well. So really appreciate you all. Thanks for being here. Oh, yeah. And then there's a feedback form. So you get to judge me every week. Let me know how I'm going. Anything you'd like to improve or any comments you'd love to share, then we'd be very grateful. So thanks, everybody. And Georgetta said, but if you were to use that to fill a slide presentation, I'm not sure if I understand the question fully, Georgetta. So let me refer to your previous one. If we were assembling the presentation to include the activity designer input, how do you integrate the output into the final presentation? All right, yeah. So like if I've got a PowerPoint presentation that's online is the key, right? So if you're using Google Slides, that's easy. If you're using Microsoft PowerPoint, just making sure you're using the cloud-based version. And then you can invite people to be collaborators. And so then those collaborators, you could even have, like, let's say there's 10 people and you broke into pairs. You could have 5 slides in there, put their names on each of those slides, and have them put their output into that slide. But they'll need to be collaborators via the cloud to do that. Hope that helps. If not, Georgetta, I think you've got my WhatsApp number, so you can hit me up afterwards. Ryan said, desperately need inbox up and running. Yeah, okay. So let's have... there's 2 things there's one thing with inbox I would like to see before you go live, and it's us moving from standard RAG to graph RAG so that we can get more deterministic answers. But nonetheless, could we get an alpha version for Ryan so he can start having a play with that? That'd be amazing. And I think, yes, I think there's a few people on the call that could get into alpha to start using it. Cool. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend ahead and enjoy being the innovators that you are, and having a great play with this particular workflow and taking it to a version that's, really meets what your needs are. So, and final thing. Jeepers, I almost forgot. The over on the Raya Pro website now, so when you're not logged in, we will be publishing these agents. So under the AI solutions, if you go to AI agents and prompt templates, we're going to start publishing these agents that we're building. So there's one of my weekend activities there's lots of agents we've built over time. So we'll be publishing them on here. There's only 2 there. We've got heaps. We just haven't published them yet. You'll be able to view the agent themselves and then copy the agent and take it into your account. Okay, so nice and easy. Hey, team, we need to hide my email address. We need to not be showing the author's email address. I just realized. Cool. Okay, so yeah, lots and lots of agents to come. And in sort of some future sprints, what we've got coming as well is inside the system, there'll be templates available to access as well. But right now they'll be public. Okay, that's it. We've all probably got meetings to go to. So much love to you all. See you next week. Bye for now.